solar fire speed. Good morning, students, again.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
In our previous class, again, we were discussing about the features of democracy. Features of democracy, and first feature was that in a democracy, the final decision-making power must rest with those elected by the people. Means the power should rest in the hands of elected representatives.
Sir, page number?
Page number it is. This page number is given. In my paper it is 5th number, 2nd chapter, 5th page. And the second feature was free and fair electoral competition. Already we had discussed about that. And the second feature is democracy must be based on a free and fair election where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. Where there is the second line, that where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. Even I had given you the example. At present, those who are in power, they can lose their seat and it can be changed. The scenario may be completely opposite. The power can go in the hands of other political parties. That is known as free and fair, due to the free and fair election. When the people, the voters, they found that the ruling party is not perfect as per their wishes, in such a situation, they elect different parties, different representatives from their constituency. Just they form, their hope is there that now this time those representatives will do the work for them. So that was the second. Now third, one person, one vote and one value. that earlier we read about how the struggle for democracy was linked to the demand for universal adult franchise. This principle has now come to be accepted almost all over the world. Few sounds are coming, so please don't forget you are in the classroom. You are not in your drawing room. So while after joining the class, just sit quietly as you are attending in your offline class. Due to the universal adult franchise, due to this principle, now almost all the democratic countries accepted that everyone, all the citizens who are 18 years of age or more than that, they have the right to cast their vote. One vote. That is really very precious vote. But there are many instances of denial of equal rights to vote. Few examples is there. Until 2015, in Saudi Arabia, women did not have the right to vote. Just 5 years ago. Second example is given that Estonia has made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to the Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. Means the Russian minorities were not allowed to cast their vote in Estonia. Third one is given in Fiji, the electoral system in such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than that of an Indian Fijian. Here value means points. Points is counted. Value in India is 1 vote, 1 point. But in Fiji, for their citizens, the value of 1 vote is 100 points, and for Indians it is 10 points. In this manner, they count it. That is the difference. But democracy clearly says that 1 vote, 1 person, and 1 value. Democracy is based on a fundamental principle of political equality that gives us the third feature. Is in a democracy, each adult citizen must have 1 vote and each vote must have equal value. That is the third feature of democracy. Now we will move the rule of law and respect for rights. We will go through the example of Zimbabwe attended independence from white minority rule in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF, the party that led the freedom struggle. Its leader, the world famous leader who fought for the freedom, independence, Robert Mugabe, ruled the country since independence, and elections were held regularly and always won by ZANU-PF party. That is a political party. President Mugabe was popular but also used unfair practice in elections. Over the years, his government changed the constitution several times to increase the powers of the president and make him less accountable. Now, opposition party workers were harassed and their meeting disrupted. public protest and demonstrations against the government were declared illegal by Mugabe. There was a law that limited the rights to criticize the president. It was not allowed. Television and radio were controlled by the government. Means media was also not free and gave only the ruling party's version. Only positive things of the ruling party they telecasted. They were not allowed to go to show the demerits of the government. Those were censored. There were independent newspapers, but the government asked those journalists who went against it. Even in the print media, the newses were censored. The government ignored some court judgments that went against it and pressurized judges. And he was forced out of office in 2017. So this is the example of Zimbabwe, though it was so-called democratic government. But with this example, you can easily understand that, in fact, the rules of democracy were not practiced, followed by that country. So it proves that, it shows that popular approval of the rulers is necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. Popular governments can be undemocratic. Popular leaders can be autocratic. If we wish to assess a democracy, it is important to look at the election. But it is equally important to look before and after the election, that there should be sufficient room for normal political activities. Including political opposition. Opposition plays a very vital role in a democratic government. Remember that. Because they always crosses the decisions taken by the ruling government. They always tries to take out the drawbacks of the decisions taken by the government. So it is very important for a democratic party, or a democratic country actually, that the opposition should be also very strong. That requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizen. They should be free to think, to have opinion, to express these in public. In our Indian Constitution, it is already given the fundamental rights for the citizens, that is the freedom to express their views. They can form associations also to protest and take other political actions. The people are free to go in a protest on the decision taken by the government. These are actually the fundamental rights in a democratic country. Everyone should get equal. Everyone should be equal in front of the law. These rights must be protected by the independent judiciary, whose orders are obeyed by everyone. And we shall read more further in last chapter about the judiciary system, that the courts can interfere in the matters of government also. The example of yesterday, as you know, the Supreme Court interfered on the matter of a religious procession, actually which is associated with Odisha. The Supreme Court ordered them with some term and condition that they can take out the process. So the judiciary system can interfere in all the matters of the government. They can ask questions to the respective representatives or officials that how you are managing, what are you doing for the benefits of the people. Similarly, there are some conditions that apply to the way a government is run after the election. A democratic government can't do whatever it likes. After forming the government, when the leaders are elected by the voters, and when they gets their post, respected post, it doesn't mean after that they will start monopoly. Means they will do their job as per their wish. That is not allowed in democracy, simply because it has won an election. It has to respect some basic rules. Everyone, either they are representatives, they are elected by the people or the general people. Everyone have to follow few rules and regulations which are mentioned in the constitution. Those are known as directive principles. Means they have to follow these principles which are mentioned in our constitution. They can't break the rules. In particular, it has to respect some guarantees to the minority also. It is also written in the constitution that the minorities can't be tortured by the majority. The government gives the equal opportunity to them also for their upliftment, and they launched so many programs for the betterment of these so-called minorities. For that, the government also provides them reservations. So that is very necessary in a democratic country. Every major decision has to go through a series of consultation. Consultation here means before passing any bill, the bill is kept by the representative in the parliament or in the assembly. And then all the members of parliament or the MLAs, they goes for a discussion for that specific amendment or bill. And after the majority, when the majority of members, they passes it, they agrees with it, after a long discussion, then it becomes a law. So it is not very easy in a democratic country to make law that any individual can just start any type of law. It is a very tough job in democratic country. Every office bearer has certain rights and responsibilities assigned by the constitution and the law, and each of these is accountable not only to the people but also for the officials also.